friends. Thank you all for joining. Uh, we have very special guest. Yesterday we had Wesley So with us. As I said in my yesterday stream, uh, he had reached a rating of 28-22, a world number 2 former. He won tournaments like Wijk, London Classics, Grand Chess Tour, uh, current world champion of Fisher Random. He has defeated at least 5 world champions. Let's welcome Wesley So, and along with him, someone without whom I cannot imagine Wesley So, Lotis. Hello Lotis, hello Wesley.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
A very hearty welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We are big fans of you, Surya, and Sudeshi.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Some of the nicest people we know are Indian people.
Thank you
really,
so much.
Among the players of the world, they are the most friendly, the most engaging. We are very happy to be here.
Thank you, Lotis. I am also proud of my Indian people. They know how to respect the game. They know how to respect the players. I enjoy that a lot.
All of the Indian players we meet are very educated.
Right.
I mean, I don't mean to put anybody else down, but really, the Indian players we meet tend to be so educated, so engaging, so polite, very, very friendly. When we were in India, the reception from the Indian public was so wonderful. Really, we have great affection for India and the Indian people. Well, the players we met and the public. We went to many places in India, so always, without exception, we had such good experiences.
May I ask, where did you go in India? Like which cities?
Well, we were in Calcutta.
Mm-hmm.
And in Calcutta, I mean, we went to many corners of this place, including visiting not just chess, but in visiting the place of Mother Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to markets, we went to schools. All of our interactions have been very good. I have also been before to Bombay and to a place up in the mountains, Kerala? No,
Kerala.
Is it Kerala? Okay, this was before. And I can say, in the Philippines, we have a large Indian population.
Right.
So we are quite familiar with that culture. And we enjoy it very much, yeah.
Yeah, still have to try the Indian street food.
Yeah.
Next time.
Have you tried Indian street food?
No.
We ate a lot of Indian food, but in the hotel.
Right.
Because he's in the tournament, we can't take a chance he gets some reaction.
Right.
But it was fascinating to us watching them cook it on the street.
Yes, the guy wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
but in Philippines also you must be having lots of street foods, right? I mean,
yeah.
I have been there thrice, and I also liked it.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I was younger, you could eat all of this, no problem. But as the cities become more congested and consequently less clean, it becomes a bit tricky to find, we used to buy everything on the street, chicken, fish balls, taho, this bean curd, everything. But now it's a little tricky because city is not as clean as it used to be.
There are many insects there.
That
could ruin the food.
Yeah. People are, I see Grandmaster Vishnu Prasanna is asking, have you tried Mishti Doi? So that's like sweet curd. It's a specialty of Kolkata.
Yes.
Yogurt, sweet yogurt.
Sweet yogurt.
Sweet yogurt.
Yes, we had this, we had it in the hotel. And another thing we had in the hotel, which was
hot or cold?
It's a dish. It was on the buffet. The sweet yogurt. Remember, it was in these little cups.
Yeah, the hot dessert.
Yeah. And then one of the things we liked the best, we ate every day, this popped rice with some chilies. It's made in the street, but they made it in the hotel. Okay, they stir it with some sauces. There's rice. And then they put it in a cone of paper. I don't know the name of
I
it.
have a feeling you are talking about some kind of bhel puri, but some kind of bhel. It's like sweet and sour, yeah, the taste or no? A bit tangy?
Well, it's dry. It's like eating popcorn,
Ah,
but
okay.
small, and it's in a cone, and you just do it like that. And they said they sell this in the train
They
station.
had this every 5:30 in the afternoon in the
Yeah.
Taj Hotel.
Ah, very interesting.
And
Every single day.
they put many seeds, dried rice, puffed rice, put some oils, put
Yes,
some
yes,
garlic,
yes.
and they stir it, and then they put it into these paper cones, and you just eat it like that.
Yes,
That
yes.
was like my favorite.
So that's what we eat when we're saving money.
But it is not spicy for you. It is not spicy for you. This
You
bhel.
could ask them to put more spicy or no spice at all.
Yeah, you can ask them to temper it, and so I always had not spicy, but no, we loved Indian food. We love it, love it,
Yeah,
love it.
except
Yeah,
when it became part of Grantchester, the lunch and dinner were no longer free.
yeah,
Unlike in the previous year.
yeah. When who is our sponsor?
And
that
actually,
we-
like I saw Aruna in the checkout, she was paying for 20 different receipts, which were lunch and dinner.
yeah, you know, who our host in India, and I'm sorry, I've
Git.
Git.
Jit, yeah, Jit.
Such a fantastic man, and his mother. We went to his house at least twice, I believe. What a wonderful, gracious woman. And Jit was so kind to us. Actually, I have to say, India is one of our top favorable experiences in going to a tournament. Not one little bit of hesitancy to make it so nice for the players, make everything so available, everything so comfortable. And even the people, when we went, I mean, the last time we went, it was a big theater in a park. And
In
the children.
in the library, right? You played in the library? Is it?
Oh, maybe that was in library, but
The library.
it looked like a theater to me.
Right,
It
right.
was
Yeah,
a
but
library.
It was
We played in
library,
the
yeah.
theater.
Yes, and the children were so fun. They were so well behaved, so attentive. They actually had such deep questions when there was question and answer portions. It was a very good experience going to India.
We were prepared though.
You know, it was difficult to get there because it's very far. I mean, really far. But once you're there, it's totally worth it because everybody was really, really nice.
Right.
And all of our experiences were interesting and engaging. The people of it, even in the marketplace, I bought several materials and things to bring back with me. People were very engaging. The workmanship is fantastic.
Yeah, when we went to the old market, suddenly there were two kids following Lotis. One little girl.
Yeah, I could have adopted children right there.
Talking about that, how many adopted children you have?
Well, okay.
Right now, two.
Right now, two. But over the decades, we have sent more than 60 to school.
More than?
Not personally adopted in my home, but we have a ministry in the Philippines, my husband and I, and we would put children from grade school through college. And so we did that for 30 years. Since I became a Christian, actually, we did that. It was very, very fun, very rewarding. Like being parents, I didn't have to change any diapers, but you know, dealing with all the problems of kids in school, kids growing, going through puberty, maturing, things like that. It was very interesting. Wesley is our last. So,
but has he grown up completely? Wesley?
I don't want him to grow up completely.
But do you have kids?
No, not yet. No, I don't have kids.
Yeah, well, it's a very maturing experience to have children.
Yeah. Yesterday, Wesley said there was a phase, you know, like when he was actually thinking whether to continue playing chess or not. He had very difficult times. We heard from him. I want to ask you, like, how you dealt with this situation, and yeah, like, how you convinced him?
Well, I don't think I convinced him. What it was, when we first met Wesley, he was about 18,
18, 19.
18, 19. I instinctively felt this was not a happy boy. You know, he seemed displaced, sort of vague in his life. He didn't seem to know where he was going. But, you know, it was not really my business. We met him casually at a dinner. But then he began to visit us. And as he visited us, and he became almost like a member of the family, which he became later full member of the family, I began to ask him, what is it you want to do with your life? And he said, well, I really like to play chess, but I don't think I'm good enough to get a career. Maybe I should be an accountant. But he was only
accountant, Wesley, seriously?
Yeah, he would have been the worst accountant in the world. Let me just say
I was actually studying finance in college.
Okay. Okay.
But you know, he was only 19, going on 20. And I said to him, why don't you take a risk and follow your heart's desire for 2 years? You can stay with us, quit school, put 100% attention on this. If in 2 years you have managed to achieve something, you can support yourself, then this is what you should do. If you cannot, go back to school. But to have that burning desire and not have the support to reach up, to try your burning desire, I think this is where parents often have a conflict. Because every parent wants the best for their children, yes? But you sometimes think the best is money, or they should become a doctor, they should become a lawyer, because there's money. But the boy,
like Indian parents.
Yeah, well, I'm saying even Filipino parents are this way. But the boy said, I want to be a painter.
Right.
No, there's no money in painting.
Oh, that's true.
But you absolutely destroy this person's natural gift.
True.
And I didn't really know if chess was his natural gift, but I don't play chess. I don't know anything about chess. But I felt he should be given a chance to see if it is his natural gifting. And if not, what's 2 years? You go back to school at 21. You go back to school and you take your finance. And that was the option I just offered. I said, we would support you if you want to do this for 2 years, find yourself, see if it's you. And if it's not, okay, you have to go back to school because you have to earn a living somehow.
Surya, if you ever need an accountant.
If I ever need an accountant, yeah, I'll come to you.
Yeah, so that's what he did. And, you know, he was in top 10 and he kept rising and he was able to support himself.
You were also helped a lot by Rex.
Yeah. Yes, and then he was in the perfect timing where he got first a scholarship from Stanford. And then Rex began to encourage players by offering tournaments in this country.
And the Grand Chess Tour was also created.
Grand Chess Tour was. So he came at the perfect moment for him to get exposure, opportunity. Of course, he has to do his share and prove he can be there. But things seem to be turning to building chess in this country.
Right.
All the time, though, we always said, if you don't like it, if you decide it's not you, go back and to school, take whatever. But you know, that was 6 years ago now, 7 years ago. 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Huh?
He started on July 1st. January 1st, what year was that?
2015.
2015, he made his introduction as a professional player. When I say professional, before that, of course, he's been playing since he was 8. But it was more like you play a weekend tournament, make $1,000, you're very happy, but you're really going to school to be something else. Yeah. You don't get real invitations. You go to little opens and stuff. That's not professional life.
Yeah, also you cannot really be in college and play chess at the same time. If you're a grandmaster, you can't really go to college.
That's why he stopped schooling. When I said, if you plan to be a professional, you must give up everything and dedicate yourself to it.
Right.
And give yourself 2 years. And so he gave up school. He gave up everything. He focused He went into professional life looking for the invitations, proving himself. And now I think it's fairly well established that chess is what he should be doing.
Right.
I think it's so important as a parent.
Even during coronavirus.
Yeah.
To
survive.
So I want to ask you, you said you don't play chess. Okay, you were an actress, right? At some point?
Oh, so long ago. Long ago.
Long ago.
Yeah, nothing. It was nothing.
Okay.
It was a period of my early youth, teenage, late teenage, early 20s, when I was also exploring what to do with my life.
There's more money than in chess.
Yeah. Well, and I that kind of family where you explore what you want to do.
Right.
Try this, try that. I was not pushed in any direction. And perhaps that's where I get the idea. You want to encourage your children, but not push them in the direction you want. Because I think many of us see our children as the replication of ourselves. So they should be better than us, or they should be us, but better. But your child is an individual, right. And he may want to be a dancer. Uh-huh. He may want to be a painter. He may want to be a poet. And I think it's only fair to that individual to give him that opportunity to see if this is what he was born to do. You know, you'll meet people later in life going to psychologists, going to, try having so many emotional and mental problems because they're not doing what they were born to do. They're doing what somebody else wanted them to do. And anyway, that's basically in a nutshell how.
Wesley, Lotis is always there with you when you're playing tournaments, but she does not understand chess. So after the game, do you talk about chess with her, or with whom do you talk then? Or you don't talk at all? Like, let's say you had a complicated game, tough game. Or let's say even if you have lost a game, how do you, like, you come back to room and do you talk to her about the game, with what went wrong? Do you do something?
Well, we talk about it briefly for around 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's hard, especially after a tough loss.
Right.
But I always try to move on. Again, we don't really talk. She looks at chess bum. So that cursed site shouldn't really exist.
I understand a little bit now after all these years of following it. I can understand basically, I can feel if it's going in a good direction or not when I'm watching it, even if I'm watching it live, you know.
Oh, she can tell by the way my opponents move.
Yeah, I can tell by the way
how they react.
That, but I'm not exactly sure, but I can tell if he's losing or winning.
For example, like Hikaru, if he's well, he always shakes his head.
Yeah.
But I always tell him, okay, for me, actually, the loss is not that important. If you have more wins than losses, that's where you want to be, because you're never not going to have a loss. For all the players out there, I have to say, you must accept that sooner or later you're going to lose. It's part of the game. It won't be a sport if you're winning every single game. Okay, you're going to win, you're going to draw, you're going to lose. If your losses remain lower than your wins, then you're okay.
I think it's kind of the way like Bishi used to work with his mother or with Aruna.
Aruna also, yes.
Yeah, Bishi just plays the chess, but he lets Aruna does everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
I read Bishi's book, by the way.
Mind Masters. Have you read Mind Masters?
Mind Master, yes, I did.
It's very good, right?
Very good book, and I really love that book. It's very entertaining also and very realistic, and also it shows exactly, like, I think every chess player will understand this book because it shows exactly how very high level chess is.
Right.
Yeah, the stress level is off the charts. People don't really get it because, all right, in fairness, most people have never been to an elite tournament. Mm-hmm. They watch it online. They don't have a feeling, and I'm sure you understand this, Surya, for the level of stress.
Absolutely.
You can feel it in the air. It's terrible. The stress in the hotel, in the airport, in the venue, with the other players. I mean, this is not everybody's just walking around having a good time, and no, it's incredibly.
I think critics are also part of the.
I mean, I was part of the team in like 3 World Championship matches, and I have seen it very closely how much like stress it takes.
Oh yes, you were. Yeah, I also read the book about Vichy's 3 matches with
Anand
the world
Files.
champ.
Anand Files, yeah. Yeah, I was helping him for this Kramnik Topalov and girlfriend match. Very exhausting.
It is exhausting, and it is painful because people online, which we don't really follow, but we'll get occasional feedbacks and all, don't get how difficult it is. I really dislike it when they say, "Oh, it's so obvious. Oh, he should have moved this. Why he didn't? Anybody, I could have done that." No, you couldn't have. You couldn't have. Unless you have been to a league tournament and sat over the board with the top players of the world, frankly, you shouldn't even be commentating, because you don't know the feeling. Things that are very clear when the engine is in front of you are very complex when you're in a hall with tension so thick you could cut it with a knife, with enemy across the table, enemy behind you. This is not a team sport. Everybody's out there by themselves trying to survive.
Yeah, and also I think like the computers have become too strong nowadays. So what seems very easy for them is in fact very difficult.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, the puzzle we were solving, it's insanely hard.
It is very hard, yeah. But somebody with, nowadays even with mobile, they will say it's easy.
Well, this is it. And then they don't use their real names. This is the best part. They don't even use their real names because they don't have the guts to do that.
Yeah, so it's not really fair.
But you could not sit in any of those venues and play a game unless you have incredible natural talent. The forces against you are very, very strong. Even the walk from the venue, the playing hall to the elevator to go to your room is full of tension. We have an unspoken agreement in these things. Players don't talk to each other. I don't talk to anybody. Wesley doesn't talk to anybody. You just blank it all out because the tension is so strong. And there's no teammate to say, "Oh, well, I could have sunk that ball, but if you passed it better." No, every mistake is on you. Every small miscalculation is on you.
I heard in the World Championship match, Surya gave Vichy chicken pox.
Oh, thank you for bringing this.
And already you also gave him the chicken pox.
Yeah, already it is in 2 books. Vichy said it live. It is everywhere. Yes, and everybody knows it by now that I gave Anand chicken pox. But
oh my!
Yeah, the thing was this happened during Kramnik match, and I was very lucky that I had pox during I think before 5th round, and from 5th round to 8th round I was I was isolated in a room. And when the day the match got over, the very next day Anand got chicken pox, both Anand and Aruna. It was very embarrassing.
He got it during the tournament.
Sorry?
He also got it during the tournament?
No, not during. Immediately after the tournament he got. And
well, all these things. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was saying at some point I was locked in my room and I was still walking with the chicken pox. So at some point, we had this with Anand. I was saying that at some point, all the work for that round was finished. But since I was in a different room, I had no idea. So I was constantly asking the team, give me some work, give me some work. And at some point, Rustam Kazimjanov, he started giving his own private preparation to check, which has got no connection with the match. He's just giving me his normal file. He said, you can check this,
Entertaining you.
I had no idea this has no connection with the match.
But you see, okay, look at that. I mean, in a world championship, every tournament we go to, there's always the risk. Wesley has had food poisoning in St. Louis, actually. There's always the risk of picking something up, a virus, a bug, a food poisoning, and your game is gone. And you have prepared so long for that tournament. It's not like you have a teammate who can take your place and toss that ball for you. We are so careful. I mean, when we travel, I have to disinfect. Even before this virus, I was always disinfecting our seats in the plane, disinfecting the hotel room, making sure that I know where the food came from, where it was cooked, what's in it. All of the responsibility is on one player. And this is something perhaps people who play team sports don't understand. If LeBron James gets sick, somebody is going to take his place, okay?
They got reserves.
They got reserves.
Yeah.
But in
Individual.
it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
No. You get a fever, you get a cold. Last U.S. championship, he had food poisoning for 3 days in the opening of the championship.
You're from bad vegetables.
We ate a sandwich in Subway, in the local Subway station.
Right.
He was after that. All of these things, you know, and you work so hard, and one little thing can make everything go wrong.
Yeah. Lotis, you have also faced a lot of negative criticism in this process in general. How you dealt with those moments? Like there are, you know, like so many incidents where you are criticized. Wesley was criticized, but you guys still reached the highest level. How did you manage to shut everything and still focus on chess?
Well, okay, number one, I don't have social media, neither does Wesley, except for his Facebook page, which he just puts his tournaments. We don't really read much. In the very beginning, yes, I was shocked at how a private decision between private individuals became so, okay, perhaps other people knew this. I didn't know it at the time, that Wesley was one of the great players. I didn't know this. For me, he was a boy. We have many boys pass our house in the hundreds of kids we have fostered through our church, through our community in the Philippines. We have many, many young people. He was another one of those who I felt needed some guidance, needed some love. I didn't know he was going to be one of the great chess players of the world. I didn't know it. Now, maybe the people who were angry with us for him making the decision to go professional knew that. I didn't know it, and they lost money on it. I'm not sure what the reason was, but when he left school, I don't know what the deal was. I mean, many, many young men and women leave school to pursue an interest. I could not understand where the anger came from. And then in his personal situation, he had not seen his biological family for a long time. He was not really connected. He was already an adult. I was not sure also why everybody was so angry. We were the ones spending money. Wesley had no money at that time. We were the ones supporting him, feeding him, housing him, just in the hope of giving him a chance to show himself. And frankly, we did not see this as a long-term thing. I thought we'll help this boy for 6 months. You know, get him on his feet. But then things began to evolve, and I saw that he needed more help. So I started organizing his logistics, and things evolved from there. But initially, this was just helping a boy over a rough patch in his life to try to find himself. So the anger was not something we understood. And then, of course, as I said, I don't know much about the chess world. I don't know anything at that time about the chess world or chess. Now I do, but we don't actually read social media. We don't have Twitter, and we don't even use cell phones. So the hate that may still be out there, I don't know, is actually missing us. So if you're sending us hate, we're really not getting it because we don't have social media.
Yeah, sometimes I check like the top players' Twitter and stuff, but the comments there are just way too toxic.
Yeah, toxic.
And people and many people comment who you don't even know.
Yes.
And they just act like little devils in a way.
Yeah, and I think its best thing is to ignore simply all the time.
Yeah.
It is like you're taking a walk in a marketplace and people are shouting at you from every side. Why would you pay attention?
It just seems like people act so differently online than in person. Because we have friends in the chess community who write on Twitter, and what they say in person is much different from what they say online.
Yeah, because
like online, they just will say whatever they want to say.
Yeah, because also they're not in general they're not visible, so they can say whatever they want.
They're not what?
Visible.
They're not visible, right? Like in person, normally they don't say.
Also,
Yes.
I really think that Twitter is one of the worst things ever invented by demons, by man.
Demon.
You know why?
I guess in a way.
Your first thought is rarely a good thought. And yet Twitter allows you to put your very first reaction, your very first thought out for 50 billion people to see. And once it's out, you can never take it back. You can delete it, but you can't take it
Yeah,
back.
because people have read it already.
Yeah. And, you know, it's like that famous statement, the internet is written in ink, not pencil. Many times you would regret your first reaction to anything. Your first reaction to anything is rarely a good one. And in the old days, you used to have to get a paper and a pen and a stamp and an envelope. You used to have to write it. And by the time you did all of that, you already got over it.
Yeah, also I see no point in having a Twitter because you check it for 5 minutes, but then your whole day is ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
By thoughtless comments
Yeah.
that many people say later they regret or they shouldn't have made, but they made it.
Yeah.
And I think it is a lack of education to say the first thing that comes in your head for the rest of the world to see. When we're in the family, yes, we say the first thing that comes to our head, but then you know it's in the family. It's not for the entire planet. And then you think later, oh, that's not right. I shouldn't have said that. You don't do this in public. I mean, it's really bad manners to be putting to showing us your nasty, evil side. Everybody has a nasty, evil side, everybody. But culture has taught us not to expose this, to deal with it at home in the privacy of your room. And now with social media, you put your nasty, worst side out there for everyone to see what you really like. It's sad because now you can look at people and see you may present yourself as being so nice, but look at what you really are.
True.
So anyway, we don't have it. We don't read it.
Very true. I will take some of the audience question. I have got lots of them. But before that, a message from Ramesh and Prag.
Hi!
Oh, they're not there.
Oh, he's not there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in Leon.
This was in Leon.
This is in Leon.
Oh, what a nice man that. His name is Babu?
Babu.
Praggnanandhaa. We call him
No,
Prag. The coach
No,
is
he's
Ramesh.
coach.
Ramesh.
Ramesh Babu. Wow, fantastic. First of all, I love that kid, Praggnanandhaa.
Yeah.
He is adorable. I've been seeing him around the tournaments since he was like small. Then suddenly he became very tall. But he's an adorable kid. And his mother, she's fantastic. She's the most humble, most kind person. And I think she does a good job with her son. And his coach, I told him this, and this is true. I said, Ramesh, if Wesley had grown up with you, I think he would be even better than he is today. Because
That's
Ramesh
nice.
Babu does a fantastic job with the kids.
Yeah, he's one of the best chess coaches in India, right?
He
Right.
is. And
Yeah,
gentleman.
he is. Definitely. A thorough gentleman.
Where is he coaching?
He is, he has a Gurukul, so he has lots of students. So Praggnanandhaa and Arvind Chidambaram. There are many.
Yeah.
There are many.
Those children were him and little Nihal, such nice parents. Pragna and Nanda and Nihal. The mothers, I'm so impressed with Indian mothers. I really am. I feel that they, even I don't remember the name of the other one we met in Isle of Man. His mother took care of him.
Who? What's it?
His big eyes.
Who's the youngest?
Gukesh.
Anyway,
Gukesh.
Gukesh.
Mother.
mothers, the Indian mothers, and I don't know many.
So many
Indian,
young GMs.
Yeah, I don't know many Indian fathers. I suppose Indian fathers are
And
working.
also we have
They're
what's
nice,
his name?
really nice.
Nihal.
Mr. Bean.
Mr.
Yeah, that's Nihal.
Nihal. I believe Nihal is also watching this. We also tease him with saying Mr. Bean. So,
He is Mr. the young Mr. Bean. You know, I was embarrassed to say that to him first, but then his mother started laughing and she said everybody says that to him.
Right.
That he Mr. Bean. I'm very impressed with the parents of the Indian players. Even the father of, I was just thinking of
Adiban.
Adiban.
Mhm.
What a nice guy. I
Fantastic.
mean, these parents are really giving their lives to their children.
Many times, like all the players also there, I have never seen any players having disrespect towards anyone. Everybody adores and loves everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
chess is a sport where I can be, let's say, fan of Wesley So, but it does not mean I will not like Magnus. Like there
Exactly.
is lot of respect in general, and every single chess player in India, they basically they know how to respect
Yeah.
each other and all the players.
The ones we have met and their parents are so impressive, really so impressive. You meet a lot of people.
Mhm.
And sometimes I worry about some of these younger chess players don't seem to have much guidance. They are at tournaments by themselves. But these Indian children always have a parent and a good parent watching everything. I remember the mother of Gukesh every day cooking, every day in a small, they rented a small apartment in Isle of Man. And every day she was cooking food. She had brought with her the stuff from India, and she never fatiguing, spent all day in the tournament hall with him, then go back we would take a taxi back to our hotel together. And she would say, I have to cook now.
No, I think this is the mother of, what's his name? What's the name of the 14-year-old?
There are many 14 years old. They are always beating me in blitz.
The one who got a GM norm in Isle of Man. What's his name? Like he drew Sergey.
Ronak? No.
Ronak, yeah.
But
I think you're talking about.
No, but also Gukesh. I remember Gukesh very well.
So many 14-year-olds.
I think you're very fortunate in your culture that parents seem so dedicated to their children. Well, I think it's a cultural thing because, our sponsor there in India, our host, Jit, his mother throws the party. And his mother's an older lady, but she hosts the party in her apartment with all kinds of catering. I mean, she could say, Jit, you're a grown man, do it yourself. No, she's the one behind everything, planning the food, planning the flowers, planning the arrival of the guests, the transport of the guests. It's
I
nice.
remember her because she has a large garden on the third floor.
She has a beautiful garden. And she's a beautiful lady, yeah.
She's the only one who has.
Right.
I think she's an art lady.
Well,
so I guess no matter how old you get, your mother's always there, yeah?
Absolutely. And for mothers, like the kid will always be, they will never grow up.
The same with him.
Yeah. I have some audience question which I will ask, but there are many grandmasters also in the chat. There are many young chess players, but I see a lot of spam messages are also going on. So Wesley, I'll ask you, do you want me to disable the live chat completely, or it's okay with you if the chat goes on the side?
I can't really read it. It's too small. I don't read.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think it's better if you don't read it. If there is something relevant, I'll let you know. All right.
Yeah.
So there are many questions. So some from few kids. Mritika Mallik. How do I pay more attention when I play live chess?
Live chess. Well, I guess you just have to take it one game at a time. Focus on that single game. Very easy. Most often it's very easy to relax and take it easy once you think you have control over the position. But again, the game is not really over until it's over. So I think you should just take it one game at a time and focus on playing well, focus on doing well, focus on avoiding making too many mistakes.
Right.
And just trying to play good chess and enjoy the game.
Sure.
But also it depends what the time control is. If it's a long game, then you could spend some time to walk around when your opponent is thinking, because I think it's not really possible to just sit on the board for the entire 3 or 4 hours.
Sure.
But if it's a rapid game, then you should just stay on the table.
Right. The next one comes like two of them asked. One is it's more or less they had similar questions, so I kind of merged it. Yeah, to how to avoid blunders and improve endgames, and how do you come back from a bad performance. I think this we already discussed, so that part you can skip.
Well, how do you come back after a bad performance?
Is that for Ishwari?
Maybe
Yeah.
you can. Well,
Yeah,
I think sometimes avoiding blunders is part of a learning process, especially when you're young. You make mistakes every now and then. But I think the important thing to remember is that you should learn from your mistakes. You should save your games, as I said yesterday, save your games and study them regularly, because nothing is as valuable an experience as analyzing and dissecting your games.
Right.
Every player has a pattern. So if you can recognize your pattern and avoid making the same mistakes, because I believe that in order to improve and get to the next level, you have to know yourself exactly. You have to know your strengths and weaknesses, and you have to realize what are the typical mistakes you make and try to avoid them from doing again, because you can't really improve unless you've gotten rid of your main weaknesses.
Right.
Well,
How do you suffer from a bad performance?
How do you come back from a bad performance? I think the only way is, and I think even Vishy said this one time, I remember talking to him about it, you have to accept that a bad performance is part of a career.
Right.
It's not an anomaly. It is part of being a human being. And one day you're going to have a bad performance, and you're just going to have to say, I had a bad performance today, I have to try better tomorrow. You can't feel that bad performance is an indicator of your game, your life, your personality, your character. It is part of life. It's going to happen. Deal with it. Okay, it wasn't great. Don't feel that good. Maybe I should go have ice cream or something. Tomorrow, I come back stronger.
Yeah. And what I like about for example, about Vishy's performance is, of course, it's an all-time great. But whenever he has a bad tournament or a series of bad tournaments, let's say 2 or 3, he always takes a break and comes back stronger.
Right.
So he always back. That's why he's still one of the top players.
Absolutely. By the way, talking about Indian grandmasters, Dibyendu Barua, this is Houdini Barua, is I know Dibyendu Barua. He says, good evening, Wesley and Lotis. Good to see you both after a long time. Hope you remember that you both had visited my academy and inspired all of us.
Yes, we remember. I think that academy was one of the cleanest places we ever went in India.
Right.
I was so amazed how he keeps it spotless and without distraction.
The one we went to last
year. Perfectly clean. And his students so respectful and attentive.
And you got what, 150 students or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the number of students, but there are at least like 2 very major clubs. One is Dibyendu Barua's, one is Alekhine Chess Club, and both of them have produced lots of young students in Calcutta, and they're doing fantastic job in general.
If I may, I would like to just say something about the blunder.
Sure.
One thing I always with blunders is they happen rather quickly. And was something Wesley taught himself was think once, think twice, and what was your other thing? Think 3 times. Sometimes the blunder happens because you just move too quickly without giving it appropriate consideration.
Right.
Yeah. I remember we went to the academy last year and forced us to take that large bag of sweets.
Oh, we got so many sweet things to eat there. It was amazing. And then he bought for us a box of Indian sweets. Yeah.
I think it was gone after 2 days.
Yeah, he didn't exactly force us to take it.
Oh,
yeah. All right. The next one comes from Setu Raman. Hey Wesley, I suppose at one point you were not active on social media, and even now perhaps. how that has helped you in your chess career and how difficult it was from to refrain from using it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not really possible to do two things at the same time. For example, I don't think it's really realistic to study chess seriously in the same day as browsing on internet or checking chess news.
Mm-hmm.
I found good advice from Bishi. He said he doesn't read chess news or go to chess websites during a tournament
Yes.
because it only distracts him.
Yes.
So like during his world championship match, he hasn't checked chess articles for a while, and he checks them only after. I do have Facebook, but I'm helped because Lotis does my social media for me.
So Lotis, you are in social media partly.
Well, no, just the Facebook. What he means is I put up the notices of the tournaments and the things he's doing. That's the extent of it. I mean, I don't answer any questions or I don't talk to anybody. And I don't think people make comments there. It's just a page where it's a record of his, what's happening, what's coming up, what he's doing. That when I remember to do it, put it there.
Right.
But that's it. That's basically it.
Right. Yeah, but you know, Setu Raman, right?
You know Setu Raman, yeah? You know him, right?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah, it's Setu Raman. It's Setu Raman.
Is he wearing glasses?
He is wearing glasses.
Oh, hi. So, yes, we see him on.
We've seen him a lot in tournaments.
Yeah, he's very humble, very nice guy.
Very nice guy. And Setu, you don't need that social media because you asked there in your question can you refrain from using it? Setu, you have a big life. You have a family. You have friends that you know. You have tournaments everywhere. You're traveling and playing all the time, exception this year. Why do you need it?
True.
Why do you need to get the opinions and talk to people you don't even know? You're poisoning your life that way.
Yeah, I always think that the opinions of critics or other people are not really important because they don't really know what they're talking about.
No.
Exactly.
Well, I just know Setu because I know that if he converted all his winning positions, he would be 2850 by now. He would have a higher rating than Magnus.
Setu, did you hear that? If you could convert only your winning positions, that's all you need. All right.
That's true. We have seen him so many times.
Some more questions from Alekhya. He says, how to gain confidence and remain confident during a game?
Well, I believe confidence also comes in part through preparation. So if you arrive well prepared for a tournament, then your confidence is higher than if you haven't studied anything at all. But confidence really is like believing in yourself, believing that you can do it, believing that you can achieve the goals that you've intended to do. But of course, those goals have to be realistic.
Right.
But if you can set realistic goals and believe that you can achieve them, there's a higher chance of you achieving them. And also, if you believe that you can win this tournament or you could be better than your rival, and if you've trained hard enough for it, then
yeah, I would have to second that. You know, your confidence is directly related to how much work you put in. And I think one of the problems sometimes with young people is they spend a lot of time playing blitz or even rapid. This is not real chess, guys. Okay, this is hip hop, not ballet. If you want to if you want to be a classical player, you want to improve your confidence and your focus, you need to play that.
Yeah, Lotis and I, we don't really think that we're like Botvinnik, we don't really think that this improves your chess skills. But
But Wesley, as a kid, you said you played a lot of blitz, yeah? As a kid, you played a lot of blitz.
Well, not really a lot. I guess I was playing a lot of blitz while I was in college.
Okay.
When he was fascinating.
Uh,
No, here's the scientific. There's science behind this, Surya. Ask your wife; she's a scientist. The dendrites of the brain are shortened by short activity. The dendrites of the brain, which are the nerve endings in your brain, are lengthened by long activity. If you cannot train your brain to think long and deep instead of short and quick, you will suffer in classical. I mean, it's scientific. It's not a personal opinion. It's the same way with, I know that blitz and rapid are very, very fun because the gratification is immediate. But they are the antithesis of the definitions of chess. They are the antithesis. It's like hip hop is a form of dance. Ballet is the great form of dance.
Sure.
When you dance, you're not going to be a ballet dancer because the technique and the lengthening of your muscles in your physical, in your body, are completely different.
Right.
It's this between running sprints and running the mile or being a long distance runner. The muscles you're training in your buttocks and thighs are completely different for those two events. And what's happening with young people is they're drawn into hours and hours of blitz, and then they'll put 30 minutes on trying to figure out some opening for their classical game. Your classical game is a completely different training, and you have to decide if you are going to specialize in one or the other.
Sure.
Because you're not specialized in both.
maybe you can do blitz, but only regularly. You have to balance it out. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you have to decide if you're going to a classical tournament, how is blitz a preparation for that?
Absolutely.
Unless tiebreak, unless you just
It can be helpful
throw
for
your
the tiebreak.
classical game and then hope for a blitz tiebreak, which
Right.
we have seen happen to us in a very big tournament where the players who were good at blitz would basically take the game to a draw in classical because they knew they could beat you in blitz.
Mhm.
But then you're completely disintegrating the meaning of chess.
Like in Norway last year.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to mention that.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, special tournament.
Yeah, they were testing. But chess is so beautiful, even from a non-chess player. It is the creation of great art as opposed to comic book art. And there's nothing wrong with comic book art, but it will never be great art. Great art are the great master paintings, and the great games in chess are the classical games. The creation of them, and I know, again, I don't play chess, but I can recognize it, is so beautiful, so intricate, so it is real interest. Whereas the blitz, especially no increment blitz, is basically video gaming. It's basically video gaming. Okay, there's an audience for it. Because there's an audience for it doesn't mean it's a great game. There's an audience for hip hop. It is not as great as the great ballet.
Yeah, I remember I streamed one time,
mhm.
but then I didn't really want to play 3-minute games without increment because you just flag your
You're
opponent.
throwing your pieces, you know, it just...
So I played 5-minute games,
Mhm.
but then people said, "Oh, it's too slow. We don't watch 5-minute games."
And you stopped streaming, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The definition
You have
of
to do
chess
3
was
minutes.
intricate thought, great planning, the creation of something beautiful. It's art. Great chess is art. And I don't know where that's going, how that is being degraded. When we talk about great games, who are you talking about? You're talking about the dead masters already. You know, not to say there haven't been any in the last several years, but is it evolving towards just video gaming? Hard to say, you know.
Yeah.
When Wesley's making a beautiful game in the long game, it's very clear. It's very clear to watch both players feinting and attacking, playing, plotting, planning. It's so interesting, like a story, like a great story.
Right. I would love to see some games as well, but I'll quickly take some questions I have collected. Okay, let's say Sarvanan is asking, you came across as a down-to-earth, friendly and easygoing guy. How do you manage to combine such a balanced personality with world-beating ambitions and inner toughness?
Well, I guess I'm quite competitive in a way, but I just hide it deep inside myself. I don't show it outwards. Uh, I guess I'm more of a type who hide my emotions deep down than show it
Mm.
outside to the world. Also, at the same time, I differentiate competing in chess. Like over the board chess is different from what happens outside the board.
Right.
So I don't put the two together. But at the same time, I think it can needs a balance. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you do for your job. Your job is not who you are as a person. You want to fight in your job to win. But your job is not who you are as a human being.
But at the same time, in on tournaments, every game that I play in classical chess, especially, I try to give my 100%, and then I understand that I play better chess when I try to play beautifully. When I don't care about the result, I just want to play my best chess, and I try to bring out my best chess for the fans and for myself, and I try to prove others wrong. And that's when I usually have my best result.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think being a mean, aggressive, or unpleasant person makes you a better chess player. I think the great chess players will be the people, are the men who want to create the beautiful game, who want to make something beautiful and artistic. And I don't see, I mean, of course, you know, we're fighting for a living here. I mean, this has been a very hard year with almost no income. But he's been working on his stuff, and
Yeah, work regularly.
you can't be the person you are in your job cannot be the person you are at home, I think.
Sure.
And you must differentiate that. It would be very impossible to live with somebody who always had this mentality of having to try to beat somebody, destroy somebody, kill somebody. What kind of a life are you going to have if this is who you are, you know, as opposed to somebody who loves to paint and wants to make a great painting?
Yeah, I guess you're
Yeah.
saying chess is my job, but it's not really everything. Right?
No, it isn't.
I mean, for me also, I personally believe that if you have too much hate in your heart, it leads you nowhere.
No.
Yeah, actually, what you wrote on the email was very nice. Also, some weeks ago, when you said that if you become the best player in the world, but you're not happy,
Then what is the point? Yeah.
no point. Yeah, because one day all life ends. You know, everyone's life will end, and then if you're not happy, even if you achieve the highest, then there really is no point to.
I mean, for me personally, I mean, I would rather be a nice human being than like above everything else. That's, I think, the topmost criteria. Like, you want to be good, you want to be humble and respectful to others. These are like basic human qualities, right?
Right. I think that hatred, the energy of anger and hatred does not produce positive things. I think the energy that comes from loving, being happy in your life, is a different energy.
Yeah, I guess I never experienced anger when playing chess. It's more of like trying to play my best and trying to play a beautiful game and trying to make myself and hopefully other fans proud.
Amazing, amazing. I will just take two more questions, and then I want to see some of your games. So let's see. I'll take randomly. This is Ramakrishna asking, yeah, who is your toughest opponent and your best game so far?
Well, I guess the toughest opponent clearly is Magnus right now.
Sure.
Because he's a very good player.
Mm-hmm. And the best game
Online.
you have ever played?
The best game? It's hard to say, but I think my game against Ding Liren yesterday, with the 3 pieces against the queen, was one of the best.
The one which we saw, yeah.
Yeah, and also when I beat Magnus in the exchange Slav, the one we looked at yesterday.
The one we looked at yesterday. Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's funny because when I played C takes D5 on that game, people just automatically assume that
You want to
I
draw.
was playing. Yeah.
Yeah, I had similar experience with Wang Hao. I was playing with him in Bangkok last round, and he needed a draw, I needed a win. He played Petrov, and I played Queen E2, and he sort of thought that it will end in a draw, but I was playing for win. Like sometimes it happens, yeah, like when you're playing higher rated players.
Yeah.
The next one comes from Ashwin. He says in 2016 you played at Bilbao wearing a Fitbit Blaze to measure heart rate and energy usage in one of the rounds. How useful do you feel such information would be for audience and players?
Yeah, that I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah. How useful? Well, that was just a test. Exactly. I remember we wore this also in Norway during the 960 championship. Just shows how much calories burned.
They burn a lot of calories. We found that out.
Yeah, chess is a very stressful game.
I think it could, with more development, be useful, but I don't think that. I think the possibilities of it are a little bit intrusive. I mean, you wouldn't want your opponent to be seeing this, while you're playing. If he starts calculating that your heart rate is going up because you made a blunder and he's not aware yet, or you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't want your opponent to be aware of this. I don't know that it was that decisive, but it's still in its infancy.
Yeah, I guess it was interesting because I guess it showed who are the more fit players.
Yeah, we used it in the 960
in Norway. Yeah,
it was very interesting because we used it in 960 in Norway when he beat Magnus, and the guy was trying to show it to me, and I'm not that bright, but he was showing me, look how fast Wesley's heart is beating. And he said Magnus' heart was beating a lot slower. And when Wesley knew that he had the game, his heart rate would start going. It's much stronger. I found that very fascinating. Although it's not, I mean to say, it makes sense, yeah? I mean, if you know that you've won the game, your adrenaline would surge in anything, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure there would be uses for it beyond what we have seen.
Very scientific.
Yeah, beyond what we have seen.
Right.
I don't know that you can control your own adrenaline rush, because adrenaline rush is so important even with actors. Before they go on stage, every actor thinks he can't remember his first line. I don't know if you know that.
Sure, yeah.
Many actors will tell you when they were young and just starting that before they go on stage, they absolutely blank out and cannot remember their first line. They panic, adrenaline rushes in, they're out there, and bang, it all falls into place. So maybe it's the same in chess,
Yeah, I guess it's a very good way to study scientific.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a potential for it. I'm not scientific enough to know exactly what.
Right.
Check.
Just I'll quickly take this one. This is from Vishnu. He's a grandmaster. He's also my trainer. He's, by the way, Gukesh trainer also. And he has many students. Leon is also one of them. So he's asking, how did you make the transition from open to close events? How difficult was it, and what challenges you faced?
Well, the difference between open and close events is that with close events you can prepare more specifically, and you play the same players over and over again.
Right.
But for me personally, the difference was that when playing close events, my opening repertoires were very limited. I tend to stick to the same ones because when I was playing in open tournaments, for example, I was playing the Sicilian, the French, the Caro-Kann, minor things like that. But in close events, it's more difficult to be as good because you're playing stronger people. And also with close events, you don't really have to win a lot of games compared to open. But yeah, what do you think?
He had a question about the invitations.
I mean, no, he was
Invitations?
No, basically he was asking if you faced any difficulties in this like transition. I think you answered exactly what you wanted to know.
Yeah, I think like in early 2015 when I was starting to play in close events, Lotis and I made notes and we studied each and every opponent in detail.
Right.
Which I have never done before.
Sure. All right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think the big difference would be, Vishnu, is that in an open event, you get players of a middling range. They're good in a number of things. They are superficially good in a number of things. So you have to also be superficially good in a number of openings. When you come to the big top 10 closed events, those players specialize in only a few openings, but they know them incredibly deeply. So you don't want to go in there with 10 different openings that you can play to a certain level. You want to go in with 2 or 3 that you know completely well, because you're facing a guy who knows it completely well. He's not also doing 10 different openings. He's doing 3, maybe 4, but he knows them so well, you will be completely crushed if you don't know them equally well. And that's, I think, the big difference in an open and a closed. Yeah. Those top 10 guys, some of them use the same opening every tournament.
Oh, kind of, yeah.
But they know it so well that, oh my gosh, if you don't know it equally well, that one opening.
I guess like Ding Liren is an example. Ding Liren knows some of his setups really well.
Yeah. They don't fool around with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 openings. But in an open, you're meeting all these people who are playing the French or the Sicilian, but they're doing it superficially.
Right.
So you have to have at least a superficial knowledge of it. But in a closed event with top players, you better be sure that you have 2 openings and you know them completely well.
Yeah, I guess also preparation in an open is far less specific because you don't really know who you're gonna face or who you're gonna play.
Sure. Okay. I have been saying this for long. Okay, this is the last one I will take, and then we'll see some games. So he says, yes, sir. I guess he was talking about Sherawan. Has mentioned that once he gave you an endgame position which was quite abstract in his view and wanted to explain some plans, ideas. But he was taken aback when you solved it fully and showed him all the relevant concrete lines after a deep think. Yesterday, Surya was telling me it is hard to pinpoint your style, which is what I feel too. Can you talk about this incident and maybe its relevance to your style also?
Yeah, sir. But endgame position. Yeah, I guess I don't remember what I talk about with Yasser. I guess we work a little bit in early 2015 and also in Wijk 2015.
But generally, I think it's about your style also. We are very curious. Like, you are such a complete player. You are able to play all sorts of positions. And if you could.
Yeah, I feel like actually in recent years my style has been a bit tame, which I'm trying to improve. Because I know that you can't really win tournaments without giving some sort of a risk or entailing some sort of a risk. You need to take risks in order to win tournament. But I feel like the last couple of years my style has been a bit tame, so I'm trying to change that. But at the same time, like, I think what Magnus said in general many times was very good advice. He said, like, some world champions have a style like Petrosian or Mikhail Tal. But for him, he views having a style as a weakness in a way. Because if you're only good at 1 or 2 sort of positions, then your opponent will know which positions he should avoid. So having a style is actually a weakness in his view. And I think it makes some sense in that with chess you need to be objective, and sometimes there's only one good move in the position, and even if it's not your style, you should go for it. So yeah, I try to be a complete all-around player, which is not so easy to do. But I have my weaknesses, I have my strengths. So I try to improve my weaknesses and try to be a complete all-around player, not too shy from any types of positions.
You know, I think this highlights the problem Wesley has had working with people. One time we made a huge mistake and hired a coach. It didn't last for very long. They never could see eye to eye. And it wound up with them not even speaking really to each other. One of the problems is that unlike most of the traditionally trained chess players today and in years prior, Wesley didn't have classical training or any substantive coaching when he was young. He had nothing. He learned it himself. And the problem he comes into when a coach tries to intervene with him is the coach is saying, well, this is how it's done. But Wesley doesn't have that background. He grew up poor. He had to teach himself. He didn't have coaches. He didn't have books. He didn't have internet until a certain age. He didn't have all of this history of chess behind him. His history, he invented himself. So this coach we had, who is a Russian, is Russian, was saying, well, this is how it's done. This is the classical foundation. And Wesley would be like, I don't see that. I don't understand that. This is how I would come to this. And then the coach would say, well, how did you arrive at this? And Wesley would say, I don't know. I arrived at it. And there was this feeling all the time that because he didn't have this classical foundation, he didn't have good training from when he was young and all of that, it was very hard to define where he was going and what he was doing. And I think that question points it out. It is still hard to define it because
Sure.
Wesley comes up with it himself. He really doesn't have a trainer, a coach, anything like that, anything of that nature, because the trainers and coaches are coming from a school of training and thought that Wesley didn't come from. So perhaps he was born with a certain ability and he worked the best he could. You know, I mean, he started by clipping columns from newspapers to teach himself.
Or reading chess books.
Chess column from a newspaper. He would clip it with the scissors and try to teach himself what these moves were. Now you get people who have been in chess schools in India even today, Russia, China, they start at 4, 5, being trained in a certain specific manner, how you get to this point. But if you grew up without it, it's very difficult to say how you got to this point.
Well, that's what Surya was saying yesterday.
Yesterday,
where
I
some
asked him.
player Soviet background.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. This is what I asked. Like he started, there was no Soviet schooling. There were no proper, like proper coaching. And from there to become world number 2.
Yeah, because the Soviets back in those days, they have classrooms, right, for chess kids. And they start like,
Well, Sergey told me he started at 4.
who?
Sergey.
Oh, Sergey?
Yeah, told me he started at 4. Most of these kids in India, how old did Praggnanandhaa start? Praggnanandhaa start.
Prag, I don't know, but I can ask in the chat if somebody can tell me at what age Praggnanandhaa started playing chess. I can tell about myself. I started at the age of 5, but 5. But there was no proper. It was very difficult to buy books, as it happens. Back then, no money. My first computer laptop was after I became grandmaster.
Yes.
So.
Oh,
So there were no such help, but
So
it's
you're
very
seeing-
typical. It's very typical.
You're coming to the answer through pathways in your brain that are not common to other players who have had the benefit of going to school and training in a certain specific way. So which is better? Maybe this, I don't know. But Wesley can work out things, and I think that's why 960 is very he's very good in 960. He's very strong because he's not constricted by it has to go this way. It has to happen this way. His mind is free to work out the ways, the pathways, which is different than players who have grown up being trained a certain way. And when I watched the 960, when we were in Norway watching his games, I thought, Wesley's not struggling with this. He's just finding the pathway because he's not constricted by it has to happen a certain way. Oh, if the knights are here, we know that it doesn't worry him. He just looks at the pattern.
Yeah, probably taking the Soviet chess code is too late for me now.
Oh, it's too late now. Your brain has already worked. Yeah, it's too late for it's too late for you, Surya, also.
Yeah, so definitely. But I think it is also sometimes these struggles are also important. I mean, I personally also learned a lot from my childhood. When there was no money, traveling in this Indian trains unreserved. Even the day when I'm going to play a tournament in, let's say, 2 or 3 days, there is absolutely no sponsors and there is always uncertainty. And even to get, like basic foods and all, things were not very easy. But I think that is what, in a way, life teaches you a lot.
Yeah, it makes you tough. I mean, when Wesley lived in the Philippines, he wouldn't know until the night before if there was going to be a ticket to the tournament next day.
Exactly.
He would be waiting. He would be packed.
Yeah, the Philippine chess.
Yeah.
Like if you don't get your international ticket until last minute.
He wouldn't know, and the tournament is next day. He's ready, but there's still no ticket to go to it. These things shape you.
Or you would travel around to try to get money.
Yeah.
2 days before.
Asking your neighbors to help pitch in.
Oh, same.
In a
absolutely same.
GoFundMe.
Absolutely.
No, not me, but chess people.
Chess people. Yeah. It shapes you differently. I mean, I look at the children in Russia, China, India today. They're so fortunate that people notice their talent, put them right away in a school, find a coach, work on them, feed them, make sure they get to test themselves against other players. He didn't have any of that until he was 20.
I was saying yesterday that in India you need to be very hardworking, right? Because there are a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players.
Yeah, there are now there are so many good coaches. So, back in the days, there were not enough grandmasters to teach us, but now there are so many grandmasters, who are grandmasters, international masters who have their own clubs, academies. So a player can definitely get a good coaching. So that part is taken care of.
Congratulations on your government and your society for recognizing that cricket is not the great sport chess is.
Well, cricket remains still very popular.
All the hate mail. Here comes the hate mail, I'm sure. But I mean to say, I noticed that people will support ball games, but even in the Philippines, people don't support chess, a mind game. You can beg, and they will put millions in basketball, and not even 100,000.
Chess
to
very
chess
hard
players.
to understand.
Yeah,
exactly. I think chess, I have seen chess popularity, let's say in Armenia, where a taxi driver played a blind game with me. I have seen in many Soviet countries where chess is very popular. But what is the difference? Let's say if I have to explain football to my mother, who has never kicked football, it will take me like 2 minutes to explain the rules, and then she can enjoy. But in order to appreciate, let's say, what Wesley is playing, one needs to understand chess at a certain level. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Like, you need to know the rules, you need to know the certain things. Only then you can appreciate the beauty in it. So that's one of the reasons why chess is not,
Well, we still have great opera, great theater, great ballet, great concerts, great musicians. And we admire them and we look up to them. And that's where chess is in that category for me, of the great things. Yeah, there's entertainment, sure, and everybody loves entertainment. That's fantastic. But are we aiming for that? Is that what you want for your kid? Or do you want your child to be a great contributor to humanity, to the world? I mean, even in the time of Mozart, he died poor. We still play his music today and feel happy.
Sure.
Bobby Fischer died crazy, but they still play his games today and admire and look at them as great works of art.
There is one.
Will we?
Yeah.
Remember,
Sorry. Yeah.
will you remember games next year?
Sorry.
Will you remember a cricket game next year?
Well, so
The say yes.
in
Yeah.
in India, chess has become extremely popular. At some
Because
point,
they're a thinking people.
yeah, at some point, there were very few grandmasters. Today we have 66 grandmasters. India is number 4. There are so many clubs and academies. There are so many people who devoted their life, not just like they just devoted their entire life, introduced so many players to chess. There were not many chess players, but now there are so many chess players, so many grandmasters, international masters, rated players. Chess boom is huge. There are
It's free for the rest of the world.
yeah, so we hope someday, even if we look at the junior section or sub junior section in India, then we are like, at the moment we are like strongest. So
Wow.
clearly a lot of work has been done in, let's say, I would say last 20 years, and that's the result we are getting. Eventually India is number 4, and with all these grandmasters. It does not happen in a week time. It takes a lot of time also, right?
But I think this is also very deeply Indian culture. Seems always to me geared towards the mind. I mean, you have some of the greatest writers in the world. I have read most of your Indian writers.
Seriously?
Starting from, Rabindranath Tagore. I read him when I was a teenager. All the way to the newer ones, the girls. I can't remember offhand their names.
Jhumpa Lahiri? No.
Yes.
Jhumpa Lahiri,
yes.
right.
Yeah, I have read all of these. It seems to me natural to Indians, the world of the mind. It seems a natural thing to them.
I have one Uncle Nehru's book.
You have Uncle Nehru's book. He does. He read all about Nehru. He bought it in the airport when we were in India. And that's why the rise of Indians in chess is a little bit unnerving to the rest of the world. Because I think once you get a good grip on it, it is your natural inclination to go towards the world of the mind, towards greater thought. After all, you invented the game. So, I mean, it's natural. I think the other things are merely entertainment and distraction. But your writers are the best, your painters. You will find yourselves being a real threat to the rest of the chess world as this evolves.
Fantastic.
Yeah, who's playing in your online Olympiad?
There is Anand is playing, I know. Hari is playing. Vidit is playing. I know Nihal is playing. Prag is playing. Divya is playing. I might miss
Who's Divya?
Divya Deshmukh. She is a 14-year-old. I think she's a women international master. Nihal and Prag is playing. Anand, Hari, Vidit, they are playing. Harika, I think, is also playing. So
yeah, she's a threat.
How about you? You're playing with Wesley. What's your team like?
Sorry.
What's your team like?
Well, we have Shankland, Robson, me, and we have Jeffrey Xiong.
Right.
And then we have Anna Satonsky, and then Carissa Yip and Annie Wang.
Right.
We have Atev too.
We have what?
Atev Abrahamian.
Yeah, sure. So Wesley, I know I said I'll take approximately 1.5 hours, but we were talking so much we could not see any game. Would it be possible to go through some games?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Padmini says Humpy is also playing. Yes, Humpy is also playing, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, very good.
Arvind and Vantika Agarwal also. That's true. Arvind Chidambaram, Vantika Agarwal, and Bhakti Kulkarni. These are the names I missed. So they are also playing.
Wow, so you have a lot of people.
Yeah, Arvind, Vantika, Bhakti. Yeah. So shall I get to the chess part? Lotis, will you stay, or it will be too boring for you probably?
What should I do?
Up to you. Okay.
Should I go? Okay.
Or you can save for a while. Yeah.
Well,
Let's see. Maybe she
okay.
can solve the position.
Okay, okay. Let's see.
Let's give it like.
So here is the first one. Do you remember this game, Wesley?
Yeah, yeah, 2016
Yeah,
in the USA Championship.
yeah. You're right, and you're
Right.
playing Kamsky. And this is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
very first round.
it's a very what?
It's the very first round.
Yes, for first round, and Gatas won the US Championship many times.
Hmm.
So yeah, so honestly, I prepared this opening beforehand, but I didn't expect he would play like C7, C6 a couple of moves
Sure,
ago.
sure, sure.
Then I played Knight H4, seems like the most aggressive.
Yeah, and here you went for a very direct solution.
Yeah, Queen D8 was not very good.
Hmm.
And then Queen C1.
I mean, this is such a natural move, but it seems this is already a blunder.
Yeah, King H7 was a big mistake because D6 and H6 is very weak.
Hmm. So he had
So
to
he
play
had,
knight h7.
yeah, he had to play Knight H7, and then I might have to retreat with Knight F3. But at least now I provoke him to play H5, which he usually doesn't want to play.
Correct. And king h7, I mean, in a way, it looks very natural move, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big mistake because if you notice, my bishop is also in the same diagonal as his king.
Right.
And Knight H5 works well.
Yeah, and if he goes here, then you just start collecting pawns. Yeah, everything falls.
Yeah, and he can't really defend both. So rook e6. Yeah, I think bishop takes h6. And also, I have 2 pawns now.
They are saying that I should try to increase. That's the maximum. Can you come slightly on your left hand side? Maybe? Yeah. I mean, they are unable to see you properly. So yeah. That would be wonderful. Hang on. Just let's do it this way. Yeah. So
Yeah, bishop h. Yeah, now why I have 2 pawns. I'm not really risking anything.
yeah, and also all your
Special.
pieces are coming.
E8, bg5. Yeah, now d5 wins.
And this bishop is coming into play.
Yeah, d5 drops the rook.
And also goes for the queen even.
Yeah, now his rook is unprotected. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, his rook trapped now. Wait.
This one against Navara in Wijk 2011. I was very
Yeah,
impressed. Yeah, tell.
You were impressed with?
I said I was impressed with the algorithm of this position. The way you played, like you first play d5, and just when it feels like like this knight is exactly attacking here, so somehow we should take and try to pin it, and then you move away. So I found this combination is a bit unusual.
And then knight g5 next move, right?
Exactly. I mean, for instance, something like this d5, yeah, takes. This is the first move that comes in mind, and something like e4, but yeah, it doesn't work, right?
He's got knight b4.
Yeah.
Which is good enough to defend.
Yeah. And this is a very interesting idea, that to give the pawn and then move the knight.
Yeah, now he has to move the queen. If and then knight g5. He could actually play something like bishop g4 and then f3 bishop e6. Just to we get that.
Just to close your bishop.
Yeah, knight takes, f takes.
Yeah. But in the game it was rook d8.
Next rook b1. And my knight squared bishop is very powerful.
Absolutely.
No way. I got 6. 55. Yes, you notice he's got 3 weaknesses here. The pawn on e6, pawn on c7, pawn on a4.
Hmm.
So it's not so easy to defend.
True.
Here rook d1, king f7, king f4. King f.
Yeah, now it's already collapsing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this position is lost anyway.
Yeah, now it's lost.
Yeah.
But with isolated pawns on e6, it's really hard to
True.
fight for it.
True. Uh, this is from Gibraltar, 2019, round 10.
Yeah, this was my last chance to try to get something out of the tournament.
Yeah. It's very interesting in this game the way you maneuvered the rook and also then sacrificed it.
Yeah, well, white has the bishop pair. I mean, black has very solid position, but
Hmm.
the white pawns are well protected.
Right.
Rook h3. He's threatening knight g4, so we need to.
Yeah. So, just protect that.
Yeah, it's always nice to double rooks here on the e5.
Sorry?
It's always nice to triple
Yeah.
on the e5.
And finally, you're coming.
Yeah, and also he wasted time playing rook c8, rook e8.
It's interesting that this rook got here and then finally all the way to sacrifice itself on h5.
Yeah, in return I get 2 powerful bishops.
Mhm.
I think he could have defended somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly. Rook e3. Yeah, now he's in time trouble.
Also, very difficult position to play, no, with such a king.
Yeah,
Right.
with rook g3. Queen f6, bishop c3. But somehow I think like the computer shows a way to defend, but it's not realistic.
Right.
Yeah, now I think black should be lost.
And yeah, basically take this bishop h7.
Yeah, take bishop h7. White's king is much safer.
Now it's completely gone. Yeah. All right, I'll take a few more games. Let's see what I have. Wesley, do you have a favorite game? I can pick that also. I mean, here I can show you. These are the games I chose. You can pick whatever you want, or you can tell me which game to pick.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, I think what your selection is very good.
Okay. I'm sure we don't have time for as many games as I have here, but whatever you would like to share, it will be an honor to go through those.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think this one is good.
Okay.
Yeah, because queen takes a7 is very.
Yeah, you know what?
Very.
So other day when I was checking your queen sacrifice games, and I was saying that you are not materialistic, but look here, yeah, you're greedy. You're just ready to take a pawn and then Then
then
defend also.
yeah, take pawn and queen f2.
It looks scary. How far did you see, Wesley, when you took this pawn?
Sorry, yeah, I think until queen f3.
Until queen f3.
Because it seems like his knight is almost trapped, so that's why I played queen f3. But then later the computer showed a3, but it's very difficult to find.
Here, the best move
After
is a3.
white is better. Because we're preparing to play b4.
Wow. Wow. And this is against So-Aronian in 2015, I can see.
Yeah. He had a pretty bad tournament there.
Right.
But yeah, he said later he just blundered. Queen f3. g5, e4, queen h3. And when he played knight g8, he just forgot that his rook was on b7.
Sorry, what? When he played knight g8, yeah.
Yeah, he forgot that his rook was on b7.
How does that help? There is a c8 is hanging.
Yeah.
Oh. He had to play knight d7.
Yeah. And black is doing.
But with the knight on g8, this bishop is hanging. Right.
So now he just.
And now just lost.
b3.
Yeah, now pretty much everything is collapsing. Okay, we can stop here this particular game.
Yeah, piece and a pawn down.
Yeah. This is against Kramnik. How many times you have defeated Kramnik in a classical game?
Is it only this once? Maybe it's only once.
Maybe only once, huh? Okay. No. Wait, yeah, you had this rook and knight versus rook pawn endgame, no? Was it not classical?
Oh yeah, that one.
Yes.
The Berlin.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to forget your victories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so knight e6 was a mistake.
Yeah, because your rook d2 is basically you are protecting this rook and trying to take here, yeah, eventually.
Yes. But Kramnik is a very dynamic player at this point, so.
Right.
He doesn't like to defend. Takes. Yeah, so now I can take this pawn.
Now your pieces are so nicely coordinated.
Yeah, and his rook on a1 is not doing anything either.
Yes.
d6. Yeah, I'm turning to take e6.
And the next move is also very strong.
Thank you. Yeah, queen e5 threatening to get 2 pieces for the rook.
Right. And now apparently rook f7 was possible, yeah?
Yeah, actually I saw this. But the thing is the rook f7, king f7, queen c7, king f6. Like, it's hard to understand
that's true.
queen c6.
Absolutely. I mean, with computer and without computer, it's completely different. I mean, if you would ask me this position, if white is winning or not, it would take a lot of time to figure out. But this is the trick.
You count all the pawns, yeah?
Yeah.
So you get 3 pawns.
Yeah. So you played 93, but this is also keeping the advantage, no?
Yeah, it's also better, but it's not a knockout though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we both miss queen takes c6 for some reason.
Right.
Queen g5. Yeah, now after I've
Now
won
it's
a
ready.
pawn, it's a matter of technique.
Sure. This is also
Oh, indeed.
another fantastic game. This is in Sinkfeld Cup 2016 against Topalov.
Yeah.
Came from an English opening.
Yeah, basically I had it prepared until like move 21.
This was still preparation.
Yeah.
Okay, I was actually going to ask you like how you came to the conclusion that e4 is strongest, but yeah, that kind of settles it. Right.
Yeah, but also I think white has to play e4 because otherwise you get a backward pawn on the e file.
Right. And this is your
Like
this is the at the moment this is the only chance to get it get it out.
yes. Takes. Also now I attack f7, so it's important to play when only the rook's on e8.
Right. Right.
But Bethelin was playing very well for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So rook bd8 is a good move.
You don't want to change queens, obviously.
Yes, probably and in a draw if I.
This is a very nice move also.
Thank you. Top f5.
Yeah.
Also, you want to put your pawns on the light squares.
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, he didn't want to draw at this point.
He didn't want to draw here, yeah?
Yeah, because he could take on c5.
Yes. He could take on c5, yeah. But Topalov is always playing very dynamically, yeah? He wants to
Yeah,
win
he
all
wants
the time. Yeah.
He had the Sophia rule, right, where he would never offer a
Yes,
draw.
yes, yes.
Rook d1. I think he missed rook d1.
What is the point? Bishop e3, you just go queen d7.
Queen d7, yeah. And try to trade queens.
Yeah, and then at some point these pawns will start falling.
Yeah, now his queen is stuck on a8.
Yeah, yeah. It's very nice that without any combination, slowly he got outplayed.
Yeah, because he sacrificed a pawn.
Yes, yes. Yeah. All right. Do you want to stop here, or we can see one last game?
Yeah, we can see a couple more.
Good, good, very good. So you that I'll ask you to choose.
Yeah, the 8.
8.
Yeah, we can do the Dashi move, right? Yeah.
We can do what? Sorry, 8.
Yeah, we can do 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Okay, okay. So. Yashimo. You want to start from the beginning or from some position? We can start from the beginning. It's a very interesting game.
Yes, we can start from the beginning.
Yeah.
8.
This was played in Gashimov Memorial against Anish Giri, who was 2790 that time. It's in the year 2015.
Yeah, the rating was much higher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for this game, I didn't really prepare anything specific because I just went to take a nap.
Yeah. King F1 was part of preparation, I assume, right?
I had some ideas, but no, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Because bishop b4 check was a mistake.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you cannot castle, but your pieces are much more active than his. It's already looks very scary for black.
Yeah. Oh, he got some weaknesses on the dark squares.
Right.
Bishop g5.
What are you threatening? Just knight d5.
Yeah, knight d5, queen h6 ideas, something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's threatening knight f4.
Yes. No, nice move. Also very typical.
Oh, I could play knight d5. Interesting.
I don't know who analyzed this, by the way. So, but it is you who
I,
analyze. You only analyze this.
yeah,
Yeah. These
so
are your
knight
notes.
d5. Yeah, knight
Yeah.
d5 is interesting.
Yeah.
Also, queen c1 was winning.
Yeah. But okay, all your moves are, I think, most logical. This was nice.
You know, in rook b8 was the last mistake.
What did he miss? You're taking the piece, yeah?
Yeah, knight g5, knight c5. If knight is pinned by like 4 or 5 pieces.
Actually, it's been here, and it's been attacked by like 4 pieces, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also knight g5 next move. Yeah. Too many pins.
Yeah. Okay, this is desperation, but of course it doesn't work. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. All right, last one. Let's see this Adams game. You are right. Same tournament, round 3 against Michael Adams.
Yeah. Michael is a very special player. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's a very technical player.
Mm-hmm.
If you think at first that white should be better, yeah, with weaknesses on the dark squares,
Mm-hmm.
it's not so simple. Knight c1, knight c4. Yeah, now black is totally equal.
Sorry?
Black is totally equal after knight c4.
Right.
Bishop e6. Oh yeah, so rook c8 was a mistake. I should have played a4 with some chances.
True. To play for here.
Yeah, a4, b4, knight e2, c5, knight f4. D
Yeah.
takes, e takes. And he doesn't have any open
He
attack.
doesn't have any discover. This knight doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can jump wherever it wants, but there is no direct threat. Right.
Yeah, and then his pawns are weak.
Right.
Rook b8, queen c2.
It's interesting the way you slowly again outplaying. I mean, at obvious sight, this bishop looks out of play. But okay, you simply
Yeah,
have double bishop, yeah?
yeah, I have the bishop pair
Right.
and also some e4 ideas. But queen a5, this was his mistake. Bishop h4.
You're still keeping
His
all the
light scores
pieces.
are too weak.
Sorry?
Sorry? His light scores are very
Yes,
vulnerable.
yes, yes. Your bishop is so strong.
Oh, the rook c8 was another mistake.
And finally, you got your e4. Ah, e4 and
Yeah,
even
and his
e5 is coming.
e4, e5, and his pin.
Hmm.
Yeah, after knight e4 just wins.
Fantastic. I cannot stop mate.
Yeah, too strong on attack.
Yeah. Well, Wesley, I can't thank you enough for doing this, for spending so much time uh,
My pleasure.
showing games, and there are many young Indians players who are actually seeing the stream, and many of them will be playing in the online Olympiads also. Usually, all young talented players are seeing the stream, and it is very helpful for them. It's extremely helpful that you came and you shared your experience. It's very motivating, and yeah, I thank you for doing this for on behalf of all the players. For on
Yeah,
behalf of
thank you so
all,
much, sir. Yeah, thank
thanks,
you.
thanks a
Yeah, I
lot,
think
Wesley.
we really appreciate it because I guess in chess, the older players do it for the younger generation, for the next generation of chess players,
Right,
and India too has a lot of potential.
right, and yeah, I mean, we don't get a player of your stature coming here and spending so much time answering all sorts of questions these young players have, and yeah, like we did not have this opportunity to interact with top class player at such young age. So this means a lot. This means a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Wesley.
your kind words.
Thank you. Bye bye, take care.
Okay, bye bye. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you. uh, hey guys, thank you for joining. uh, it was wonderful for Wesley that he spent so much time